Welcome back to Everyday Adventures in Cooking with Rick. Tonight we're making a sweet potato and black bean chili. Something my wife has made many times in the past, but because she doesn't cook anymore, I'm going to be doing this. It's my daughter requested it, so we're going to make this. It's a good vegetarian dish, but obviously you can always add meat to this dish if you want meat, but it's a healthy vegetarian dish that you can make.
Tell them the truth.
The truth is, I'm the best cook in the house. I don't know what the truth is.
The truth is, I was supposed to cook this, but...
So anyway, my wife was going to cook it, but we decided to film it, and so she doesn't want to be on the camera, so it's me. I've made it myself also.
And I get out of cooking.
But she doesn't have to cook again, which is something she likes. So I'm going to cook it, but I'll give her credit for the recipe. How's that? Mm-hmm. So it's a sweet potato and black bean chili. It's, here's the ingredients. It's onions, sweet potatoes, honey, diced tomatoes, black beans. This is actually brewed coffee. The recipe she likes has a little bit of brewed coffee in it. When I made it, honestly, I didn't put the brewed coffee because I didn't know it was supposed to be in there.
Yeah, that's what the problem was.
That wasn't a problem. It was better. The cheddar cheese is for the top, like you would have on any chili, if you like cheese on your chili. I've got ground cumin, garlic, chili powder, cayenne powder, pepper, and salt. Now, I just had a thought. She's not going to like it, but I would like to add, because in my chili, I like to have some green pepper, some fresh, green bell pepper. She's giving me a look. She doesn't like, see, when I cook, I always deviate. I always make things up and add things. My wife follows the recipe exactly as it's written.
Just follow the script.
So we might be adding some fresh green bell pepper from the garden, because I think that, look, there's no color in here. So
I need color.
We're gonna, anyway, let's get started on this. So I've already got a large onion chopped. This was 3 large sweet potatoes that you're going to cut into 1/2-inch cubes. I just have to finish this last one. I had almost everything prepared while my wife was getting the camera ready. So all I have left is to cut this one last sweet potato. She's over there checking her watch. She's not even watching what I'm doing. But this is, again, simple. Just chop this up into 1/2-inch cubes, bite-sized cubes. And then we're going to saute. I'm going to be using my big electric griddle for this because it works out well for this recipe and big recipes like this. So anyway, here's all ingredients. Just give me a minute. I'm going to get the griddle ready and we're going to start cooking. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is saute the onions and the sweet potatoes. So I'm using this, I have this large electric griddle that for something like this just works out. Well, I will tell you, my wife likes to cook in this thing. I do sometimes. I prefer to use a big pan on the stove because that's the way I like to do it. I bought this nice stove, I want to use it, but that's fine. We're going to cook in here. So I'm going to put a little olive oil in the pan, and we're going to start again by just sauteing the onions and the sweet potatoes together. And in this recipe, you can see this is a lot. So this is going to last us at least a couple nights. And I've got that on like a medium high. Yeah. To get this sauteing. And this is probably going to take at least 10 minutes. And what you want to do is you don't want to cook the sweet potatoes all the way. You're just trying to start to get them a little tender because this is going to cook for a while. After we add all the ingredients, this is going to cook for like a ½ an hour, just like you would any chili. But first thing you want to do is you want to get those onions and sweet potatoes, the onions sweated down and the sweet potatoes to start tenderizing. And again, we don't want those, by the end of this, we don't want those sweet potatoes to completely, dissolve. But you do want them to be soft. There was a while there we were trying to eat, I won't say we don't eat healthy. We actually eat pretty healthy. But there was a while there where we would try and eat vegetarian at least 3 or 4 nights a week. Just trying to cut down on the amount of meat that we that we eat. And we still have quite a few nights where we eat vegetarian. But this was one
Yeah, right.
that was a kind of a staple because you could make this and it would last you 2 or 3 nights. And you know, chili always tastes better the next day anyway. So, we've got this sauteing now. Like I say, this is going to take at least 10 minutes to start to soften up. So we're going to let that cook, and we'll be back in about 10 minutes to add the rest of the ingredients. Okay, so look at this. I found a couple of beautiful bell peppers out in the garden. This has been cooking for about 8 minutes. All right. So again, when I make chili, I always add, I like to add green bell peppers. I just think chili is, it's all red, right? So this adds a little color. Plus, you know, it's a fresh vegetable. You can't, this is vegetarian chili. Why not add another fresh vegetable? So I'm just going to chop a little bell pepper in there. And, you know, even though I get dirty looks, this is going to make the chili much better. Right? And this is a big pot of chili. So, and these are not huge bell peppers. This, I said this in another video that the garden, I don't know what's going on. This year, 2020, is a crazy year. It really is. But for some reason, it's been good for the garden. And I have had really good success in the garden this year. So that's good. I'm going to save this for my salad later. So we're going to add this now. You can see in there the onions have sweated down. The sweet potatoes are just starting to soften up a little bit. See that? Doesn't that look better with that green in there? He's giving me a look. But anyway, so we got that. So like I said, this was going to take about 10 minutes. So we got that. So I'm going to leave that open now. Added that. Now we add garlic. It calls for about 3 cloves of garlic. This is also garlic from my garden. My garlic, for some reason, the cloves come out pretty small. So, but not small in flavor. So we're going to chop, you know, I've got 4 or 5 of these little cloves. So we're going to add those in now. Again, we don't add them in the beginning because we don't want to burn the garlic. But we do want to get the flavor in there. So I am adding, like I say, the bell peppers. And again, with chili, all these things, you don't like bell peppers, don't put them in. And we're going to be adding some, I was going to say if you don't like garlic, but I don't know anybody that doesn't like garlic. Come on. Everyone loves garlic. The garlic smells so good. Garlic is one of those things, you plant it in the fall, and then in the spring it just comes up, and it's just a nice, whoop, didn't chop that one, but that's okay. Nice surprise to have in the garden in the spring. So we're just going to chop this garlic up. We're going to add that in there. Okay.
Did you add more garlic? It says 3 cloves, and those cloves are small.
I'm getting advice again. She doesn't think that was enough garlic. But that's okay.
From the person who hates to cook.
Yeah, she doesn't want to cook, though. She likes to critique. Okay. We've got our garlic in there. Now, to this, we're going to add some of our spices. Cumin, which is one of my favorite spices, and I actually grind my own.
What are you looking for?
The measuring spoon, right there. I actually grind my own cumin. I buy whole cumin seeds, and I grind them as I need them. I just think the flavor is so much stronger. So we need a teaspoon of cumin. That's a little extra for color. I always have to add a little extra. We need 2 tablespoons of chili powder. Again, this is my Penzi spices because the flavor is just incredible. So we need 2 tablespoons of this because this is our main flavor. 2 tablespoons of chili powder. Now the cayenne, again, cayenne to taste. If you don't want cayenne, don't put any cayenne. You like a little heat? It calls for about a 1/4 teaspoon. So I'm just going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of this because we can always add hot sauce later for those who like it hotter. All right, we're going to mix that in. And you saute this together with the potatoes and onions and peppers for about a minute. And that gets the spices to kind of stick to the potatoes and flavor everything up. So we're going to let this go for about a minute and we'll be right back. Alright, so the potatoes with all the spices have been cooking for about a minute. Now we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. So we need about a teaspoon of salt. See how I'm measuring this time just because my wife is watching because it's her recipe even though I'm messing it up. So about a teaspoon of salt. Again, salt and pepper to taste. At the end, if it needs more salt, you put more salt. We're going to put about a teaspoon of black pepper. This is my Penzi spice, so it's nice and strong. You get a lot of flavor out of that. All right. Now we're going to add, this is a 1/4 cup of brewed coffee. It's in her recipe. She wants me to add it. That's fine. So we're going to add a 1/4 cup of coffee. We got 2 tablespoons of honey. This is actually a local raw honey. 2 tablespoons? Yeah. 2 tablespoons of honey. This adds our sweetness. 2. 2 tablespoons of honey. Then,
Oh, with the spoon.
huh? Yeah.
With the spoon.
And 1 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes. All right, I'm just going to get that in there to get the rest of that honey off. And, of course, it's not chili without beans. And we've got 2 cans, 2 15-ounce cans of black beans. All right. And those tomatoes, you want to leave the juice in there. Now, I'm also, because you know me, can't leave well enough alone, I'm going to add, just spin this around a little bit. Again, because I have such a beautiful garden this year, I've got a couple of tomatoes here that I'm going to add. I've got a couple of plums and 1 regular tomato. You know, if you have these fresh ingredients, you might as well use them. And I do have them, so we're going to add a couple of these tomatoes in there. And it can handle it because there's so much sweet potato. Those are big sweet potatoes. So I'm just going to chop these up. No different than the diced tomatoes that are in there. Except these are nice and fresh. My wife's giving me a look like I forgot something or I did something wrong. But I think...
You have to have water, don't you?
Water?
I don't know. Oh, it's going to go dry.
Remember, all this stuff is going to cook down. So now we got this beautiful fresh tomatoes in there with the fresh peppers, the garlic. So I was able to add some fresh garden ingredients. So mix this all in. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? And we're going to let this cook. I don't know, probably about 30 minutes, something like that.
25 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Simmer.
And you want to put it on simmer. We'll let this cook for about 30 minutes. Can you see in there? It's good? All right, so I'm going to cover this. We're going to let this go for 30 minutes. I'll stir it every once in a while, and then we'll be back to try this. Okay, it's been 30 minutes. Our chili is done. So, you can see, look at that. It looks fantastic. What I did about halfway through and I stirred it, I noticed, I tested it. You should always test your food. It needed a little bit of salt I add a little more salt, maybe another half a teaspoon or so. I did add a little more chili powder and cumin just because I like spice and I just felt like it need... My wife's giving me dirty looks. This is why, I'm not going to say anything. But I add a little more spice and it's perfect now. So, I said before I only added a quarter teaspoon of cayenne because not everybody likes it super hot. So I like hot spicy. In my garden I'm growing these, they're Italian long hots. I'm going to add just to mine.
Yes.
A little bit. And again with these you got to be careful. These Italian hot peppers. I like to call them surprise peppers. I've had a few this year and some weren't spicy at all and some were extremely spicy. So they're a nice surprise. You never know what you're going to get. I do like spice, especially in my chili, so I'm going to chop this up. That one's got a little heat to it. So we're going to spoon ourselves a little bit of this. And you see how the potatoes kept their shape, right? And you still got the chunks of tomato. It's good hearty chili even without the meat. I'm going to give myself a little sprinkle of hot pepper. Of course, who doesn't like a little bit of cheddar cheese on the top of their chili? And look at that. Zoom in on that. Not great. Doesn't that look good?
Tilt it up.
I'll show you to tilt it up. Oh, okay. Good. Now, normally I like a nice dry red wine with things, but tonight I'm treating myself to a Hooker Blonde Ale. In one of our previous episodes, we had the owner of Hooker on and we talked about their beer. I really like it. I think this will go really well with the chili. Let's give it a taste. That is really good. Hey. Really good. And here you go, something that's vegetarian, extremely healthy. You can modify it the way you want. And actually a pretty easy meal too. A little bit of chopping, but who doesn't love to chop vegetables? So, sweet potato black bean chili. I hope you try it. I hope you comment, like, and click and subscribe to the channel. I want to thank everybody for watching tonight, and we will see you soon.